Never been so sure, quite so steady. I'm gonna live my life to keep the promises I made. Even though I make mistakes, I know I'm ready.
So Trevor and I met about 4.5, maybe just a little under 4.5 years ago.
We met on a trip to San Diego. It was a service trip.
It's a program that Weber puts together, and they select a number of students and you go and do a week-long service project. And we went to San Diego that year, and that's really where we kind of became friends and got to know each other.
And we met there. So kind of a cool place to meet, I think. But that place will always be, San Diego will always kind of be special to us.
I remember I was really nervous to go on our first date because Trevor and I, we were friends, and I was a little unsure on if it would be awkward to try to transition from kind of that casual friend to kind of a dating situation, but it ended up being great. And so Trevor picked me up and he took me rock climbing, and we went rock climbing and rappelling on this huge rock in Ogden. I actually don't remember what it's called, but anyway, it's the first time I'd been rock climbing outside, so it was really fun.
And then after that was over, we went and got sushi at Tona, and that was a lot of fun too. She loves sushi. So I think it maybe was the sushi, the raw fish, that did her over, that convinced her that she wanted to date me.
Yeah, it was a really good, fun first date, and that's where it all began.
Even though he makes mistakes, I know he's ready. For better or for worse, he's gonna carry. We're gonna have our hurts.
So our first kiss, I feel like Trevor took a million years with the first kiss.
Madison probably tells this story differently than I do because she says that it took me forever to kiss her.
Trevor had called me that night and he asked me if I wanted to come watch the Utah football game with him, and I was like, yeah, of course. So he said, all right, well, my buddy Nick is out of town, but you can come, let's go over to his house and we can watch it on his big screen.
She came and met me there, and we were watching the game. We'd probably hung out 5 or 6 times before this. And just afterwards, at the end of the night, I walked her out to a car and I kissed her, and that was it.
It was really simple, but it was a really good first kiss. And I have to thank Nick and his grandma for helping that happen. After Trevor and I had decided to get married, shortly after, we went out and picked out a ring. And so he had it a few weeks prior to proposing to me, and I knew he had it. And it was just making me crazy because every time we'd go out, either to hang out or go on a date or meet up with friends, I was always thinking like, oh, I wonder if it'll happen tonight. So I was always making sure like my hair was perfect, my nails, my clothes, it was exhausting. And I was just growing really, really impatient. So Trevor knew he had to act quickly.
And I wanted to do it in San Diego. It was one of my ideas because that's where we had met. And so I was like, great. I bought tickets and I surprised Madison by telling her to pack her bags because we were going to go on a trip, and I didn't tell her where, but she figured it out. And so we flew to San Diego. It was a Saturday morning, and we got there, kind of settled in.
And we decided to take a nap. We were a little bit tired from the trip. And after our nap, Trevor was asking me, well, what do you want to do? And I was just like, well, I'm up for anything. And he was like, okay, well, let's go to the beach. So we hop in our rental car and we drive to the beach. And on the way over there, Trevor was kind of being a little quiet, and he's usually pretty talkative.
Corey and I had been in communication earlier that morning, but I didn't want to be texting him the whole time saying like, okay, we're coming down, because I didn't want to give it away. So we got on the beach, and the instruction that he had given me was to find the man with the sand castle, and then that guy would tell me where to go from there.
And so we continue walking and we approach this beautiful, huge sand castle that this guy had built. And as we walk up close to it, there's a giant heart at the base of the sand castle, and it says, I love you, Madison, and then it has March 5th, 2016 written on it.
At that point, I was kind of awkward because I knew that she thought that I was going to propose then, but I wasn't, because that wasn't the plan.
Kind of standing there awkwardly, waiting for Trevor to get down on one knee, and he doesn't. So I'm just kind of what are we doing? And so the guy who had been taking our pictures, he points down farther on the beach where there's some rocks, and he said, the water's breaking really cool on the rocks down there. He's like, you should go check it out. So Trevor's like, okay. So we walked down there, and there was a big blanket that had been laid out, and it said Madison and Trevor in the sand next to it.
And so just right there, I told her how much I loved her and I want to spend the rest of my life with her, and asked her to marry me, and she said yes.
After he proposed, there was a group of people up on the beach that started cheering for us, and he was like, hey, look who's here. And there were two people like really screaming and like waving their arms, and I have really bad eyesight, so I'm like squinting, I can't really tell who it is, and they start running towards us, and as they get really close, I noticed that it's Corey and Emily, and they had been there the whole time and kind of helped Trevor get everything set up, and they had taken pictures of the whole thing. So it was really nice having them there, and it was just fun because Trevor and I were so excited, so it was really fun to celebrate with someone that we were close to.
So there are a lot of favorite dates and memories that I have with Madison, but I think one of my most favorite memories of dating Madison was when we had a chance to go on a cruise together. Her niece was getting married on a cruise ship, and we went on a cruise for 8 days in the Caribbean. And at that point we were already engaged, but having the opportunity to spend like 8 solid days directly with her, and what I really liked was that her family was there as well. It just really, made me feel so good about the decision that I was making to spend the rest of my life with her.
Probably my birthday, it was about a month ago, and Trevor is just so mindful of me, and he just kind of put a day together of all things that he knew I would love to do. So he picked me up first thing in the morning and took me up to Causey Dam so we could paddleboard for a couple hours, and the temperature was perfect, the sun was out, and no one was at the dam for the first little while that we were there. So it was like heaven, it was amazing. So we paddleboarded there for a few hours, and then after we got in the car and we drove down to Camas, and they have a huge alpaca farm down there. And anybody who knows me knows that I absolutely love animals, especially llamas and alpacas. So it was like a dream come true. I was so excited. So we get out of our car and we meet the lady who owns the ranch, and she takes us into this little arena area. And there were no alpacas to be seen, so I was kind of like, well, this is weird. I'm like looking around, and she's like, oh, I'll get him to come. So she claps her hands a few times, and about 65 alpacas just come flooding into the arena, and they're surrounding us and making all these little noises, and I could not have been happier. So we got to feed them and pet them and play with them for a couple hours, and it was just a blast. And Trevor was a good sport. I'm sure going to an alpaca farm is not one of the top things on his list of fun things to do, but he knew I would love it. And after that, we ended up going to Park City. We did a little bit of shopping, got some pizza, and then we finished out the night watching The Bachelorette. So it was my perfect day.
Madison, there's so many things that I love about Madison.
There are so many things that I love about Trevor. I could talk about him all day long. One thing that I noticed about Trevor from the very beginning when we met so long ago was he is so genuine and caring about everybody, and he serves everyone.
I love that she is kind. She is one of the nicest people that you'll ever meet. And to me, that's really important. And it inspires me and motivates me to be kinder and to be nicer to people.
My big love language is words of affirmation. And Trevor knows this, and he is constantly telling me how much he loves me, how grateful he is for me. And that is just so validating to me and makes me feel so confident and happy in our relationship and where we're at.
I also love that she loves animals. I don't love animals that much, and so we're really a compliment in that regard, but she is so sweet with every animal, and I think that just speaks to like the kindness of her heart and how good of a person that she is.
Another thing too that I admire so much about Trevor is he is such a hard worker. He is the most driven and ambitious person I have ever met, and I noticed that too from the very beginning. He knows exactly what he wants, and he knows exactly how to get it.
Madison is very, very motivated and extremely intelligent, and both of those things are, I find, very attractive qualities, and love that about her. The thing I love about Madison the very most is that she's a beautiful person, both inside and out, and really just motivates me to be the best version of myself that I can be. And yeah, I want to spend the rest of my life with her and the rest of eternity. There's
no doubt in my mind that whatever he wants to do in this life, that he will be successful. And he has a way of making me feel safe and protected and loved, and I'm so grateful for him.
We're gonna have our hurts, but it's the treasure of my life. Just to spend it by your side, I know I'm ready. Oh, it's the treasure of my life. Just to spend it by your side, I know I'm ready.